everyone. So today I'm going to talk to you all about the moon. I already made a moon series, but I didn't exactly explain the true energy behind the moon itself. The moon is fascinating. Have you ever spent time with a Cancer or a moon in Cancer and just noticed how they tend to have a spiritual connection with the moon itself, with emotions, with things that aren't logical? So I have a Gemini moon. I'm just learning now that I skim across the surface of emotions. I'm extremely moody and erratic, but there tends to be a type of pattern as to how people receive their moon sign, where the moon sign comes from. If you look at your moon in your chart, you are likely to have gotten this somehow from your family. So it has to do with values. It has to do with a deep, unconscious sense of reality. So your moon sign is actually happiest with people that reflect your moon. So the sun and the moon have like a very symbiotic relationship. The moon is basically kind of like a response to the sun. The sun is the ego, and the ego is not very logical. It's just consciousness. So the sun is pure consciousness, and the moon is your unconscious desires and needs. So sometimes this can conflict with who you are as a person. But in reality, I consider the moon sign to be very, very interesting and an in-depth look into your personality. And it also reflects the just basic personality traits, how you act. It's to me, it's your mind. Vedic astrology actually explains how the moon sign is your mind, which makes sense. It's your illogical mind. It's your needs. It's your deep unconscious desires. So to me, it's actually your subconscious. So it's your base. It's what you need to thrive. To feed your moon, you need to eat. So where's your moon, and what kind of information, what kind of emotions, what kind of logic, what kind of expression? I just use the 4 elements there. So basically, if you have your moon in a fire sign, you need to express. You need to be yourself. It's very vulnerable, actually. The moon in a fire sign is extremely vulnerable. The moon in Earth, well, I forgot what word I was going to use for that one. I think I said it, but the moon in Earth is food. I would say that if you have the moon in an Earth sign, you probably have a very interesting relationship with physical material reality. The moon in air, you need to communicate. You need to connect. You need advanced technology in your life. You need to learn constantly. If you have the moon in water, you need affection. You need connection. You need actual connection. Air signs kind of just need this light connection, but with the moon in water, which is actually quite comfortable and very beautiful in my opinion, probably because of my birth chart, I see the moon in water as this amazing, profound, beautiful thing. But where does this come from? It's starting to annoy me how superficial all this information that we're getting about the moon is. It's in books and it's just what people say, but with my moon in Gemini, I'm just these words are so shallow and boring, and I want to go deeper. So at this point in my life, I need to feed my moon in a deeper way. And how is the moon actually fed? Through the fire of the sun's rays. So I've noticed in my family, at least, I have moon in Gemini, and my father is a Sagittarius. Some people may ask, how does this relate? Do you guys not get along? That is not the case. If you have a moon sign in a specific sign, look for its opposite sign and look to the sun, okay? So with Sagittarius opposite Gemini moon, in my situation, There is a very symbiotic, magnificent relationship here. Basically, I was implanted with my Gemini moon because of Sagittarius. How does this work? Basically, I have to emotionally play the role of Sagittarius's companion or other. So if you have moon in Cancer, your other is actually Capricorn. So moon in Cancer and Capricorn. Logically, some people may think, oh, this is horrible. You guys might have some conflict, blah, 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 blah. It is not true. So if you, where your moon sign is, look to your opposite sign. Look to see if there's someone in your family that has the sun in the opposite sign of your moon. And the closest it is, it actually creates a thing called full moon. Like, I'm going to have to coin this. I don't know if, there might be an astrologer out there. I just don't know. I've just kind of figured this out by myself. I have Sagittarius midheaven. So I figured this out by myself. Okay? See, there's my Gemini-Sagittarius relationship there. I have Mars in Sagittarius, so my Mars and Moon are constantly communicating. My Moon is kind of in my 4th, 5th house. So you look to the house that your Moon is in and how you relate to family. But it's all about relationship, like actual deep relationship. This is why they say the Moon is really important in relating. And this is why the Moon rules over feminine aspect, because the feminine energy is all about relationship, like actual relationship, like deep, meaningful, emotional connection. So if your Moon is a reflection of all this, it's actually, in a way, a reflection of the sun, like I said. And in my family, like I said, my dad's a Sagittarius. My sister has Moon in Aquarius, and my parents both have Leo very strong in their chart, okay? So my sister became something, it's basically you have to fulfill a role of the other. So my parents had a need to fulfill a role of being a Leo, because my mom has Leo moon, which is opposite my sister's moon, which is extremely common, by the way. Like, if you're a female, look at your mom or your daughter to see where your moon sign is or what kind of energy you have. It's going to most likely conflict with the other females in your relation, in your family. At least that's what I've noticed. Female relationships are really complicated. And this is how the moon comes into play. And this is why the moon is very much about opposition. So the moon actually enjoys being the other, which is really beautiful, because a lot of people just see the moon as something they don't really look into what the moon represents, but it is your fulfillment and your emotional need to be someone's other, to be in relationship with someone. So the moon sign is really important. You're definitely going to automatically connect with people that have the same element of the moon as you. You'll feel an automatic, like, I know this person. Like, this person is my family. But you'll also feel a bit bored with someone that has a similar moon as you. So this is where the moon's lack of logic kind of comes into play. Whereas the moon sign, I find in relationships, people tend to have squared moons. Like, people with really strong relationships, meaningful, lasting marriages, kind of have squared moons, opposite moons, even in conjunct. But conjunct moons tend to be a bit too easy to get along with. You're not going to learn a lesson from this person, because this person is just going through the motions, which is what the moon does, just like you are. Like, they're playing the same role as you. The moon is kind of a role you play, an emotional need role. It's something that was implanted into you from your family. I don't know if there's anything much more I can say, but just know that the moon is very spiritual and meaningful in your life. So if you have been only looking at sun signs, look at the moon. But of course, the sun is definitely important. It's your life path. It's the masculine energy in your life, regardless whether whatever sign it's in, it is your life path, your lessons. And your moon is your deep history, your past, your family. It is your emotional needs. You can never ignore one or the other. The sun and the moon are deeply connected, and they create yin and yang. So whatever placements you have, just kind of look to the moon to see where your family history comes from, what you need, what your connections actually are in life. Okay? Well, continue watching my videos. This one was just a last minute thing. Right now I'm in the process of making my Venus series, and believe it or not, I will finish this. So I'm a Capricorn, so I always go back to finishing everything, which some people think that means that Capricorn's a fixed sign, which is not true. Capricorn's just ruled by Saturn, okay? Anyway, thank you for watching. Please comment. I want to know what you think, because this is kind of something I haven't talked to anyone about yet. Bye.